Hello, viewers, and welcome to another episode of the Enoch generation, a generation that walks with God. Well, in our last episode, we had Prithivi Samuel with us. He was talking to us about his journey with Jesus, the days he was just a nominal Christian, and the moment Jesus touched him and changed his life. So, we will continue listening about the journey of Prithivi Samuel with Jesus. So over to you, Prithvi. It was very interesting to listen, how you went there as a musician, but the Lord touched you and transformed your life. So after you gave your life to Christ, what was the transformation that happened?
Nothing was happened. That was a big transformation because I went back to my. This was a 3 days. You give up your life and all this. Like it was exciting, but when you come back to your routine life, you forget what you committed to the Lord. I mean, I went back again to the world. I mean, to college and all this. Like started to work and like I started to do my post graduation. I gave up my life when I was in undergraduation. So post graduation, eventually the regular college life. So it was even more distracting for me. I would say post graduation life was more like took me literally away from God. Actually, I was wanted to get into like what do you say, more into world for fame and like you asked me last episode when the pride enters in what you do. The Lord try to control it, but you try to over cross the parameter, like no, and you like want to get connected with everybody. I was thinking like not to say literally I gave up my life. I was like little backsliding. Like you were still in college, you're not completed, and you're not getting that adult. You're not getting
So
from
once
teen.
you were out of the atmosphere, things
As much as
changed.
things change actually. So I was like still running parallelly, to the world and like all whatever the regular those age kids. I was like doing that, but
But my point is, see, after you surrendered your life to Christ, did you start going to church regularly?
yeah, actually, the team that no, I went to the camp. The team took me on board. That's when slowly the Lord started to shape me up. Actually, so
Okay.
I was not going to church. I was only a Sunday Christian. I mean, namesake Christian. But eventually, though I was running parallelly to the world, but the Lord trying to shape up everything to His plans. Like I started to go to church because of programs. So I went on board with the team. So every Sunday we had program in church. Still, my mind says you're still a musician going on a Sunday. At least you're playing music on a Sunday. So we get that excitement. Oh, I'm playing on a Sunday. The Lord change started to shape my thoughts as well. No, I'm here to call you as not as a musician. You're not in a. I mean, it was a very nice phrase he gave me. You're not a musician who's ministering. You're playing for a ministering band that does music actually. So change your perspective and just started to go to church and started to slowly take up things seriously. It was eventually happening. Initially, it didn't happen, but slowly I was started to go to church and started to pay attention to the messages actually more than. So the music part was slightly fading out and start concentrating more on the word. Actually, that was happening over the years. It was
Okay, so
beginning.
that was when you were in church,
Yeah.
but otherwise it was a little drifting off when you were with your friends.
Monday to Saturday again, it will drift off to a different thing like
So
some
Sundays you
friends.
come back.
Sundays you come back, okay, it's like okay, listen to the message, and Monday you go as like a flying bird, and like you go across the world and you come back on a Sunday for rest. So even that part was changing. When weekdays we used to go for ministry, but still my mind says you're a musician still. So it was a battling. It was like literally battling. I'm a musician or I'm doing ministry. I'm playing music or so the Lord started to convince me actually. No, I given you the talent, so use it for me. I mean, take it up as a ministry. Don't take it up as a word. So I had a good diversion from what I used to be and what I was getting shaped up into. So the Lord was.
You could feel the difference.
I could feel the difference, but eventually like okay, why I need to get that feeling? Okay, something like I think they're getting too much like no concentrating or too conscious about what. I mean, we used to minister in colleges, so that excitement was it. But at the same time, we were all being watched actually, like no,
You
whether
wanted to move with the crowds.
more with the crowds and all things, but that didn't happen quite well. It was still battling till I finished my college. Actually, that was my
So till you finish your post
post
graduation.
graduation. Yes.
So after that, what happened?
So after that, I think I stayed at home only for a week. Immediately, I started to work. I went to
Okay.
it was a very young age. I went to corporate actually. I started off with night shift actually. So when you really get in, that's where you really get in to know the pinch of what the world wants to teach you actually. So college, you are having fun. You are teaching the world what you want to be. But when you get into a proper adult mindset where you start to work as a working guy, working environment, that's where the Lord teaches you with a pinch. Like, you need to learn things in a hard way. What is world? So for me, the world was college fun, guys, no music, blah blah, all this etc thing. Well,
Name, fame.
this name, fame, I was gaining name. I mean, in fact, all of my friends used to get jealous. "Macha, how come you're just playing a guitar? You're becoming so..." Till now, all my friends, even the music friends now, they know how I used to be. College days, I started to playing in concerts, big stages, and started to attract people very quick
Easy.
actually. So that's when we are transiting from Orkut to Facebook, and like we get that excitement where I got my first digital camera. College days, I had all the gadgets what we used to have now. So people used to be like, "Oh, every week you're earning something, you're buying something, you're like all like, no, yeah, I want to
Oh,
post."
so you made money to buy your gadgets?
Yes, I never burdened my mom. I was brought up by a single mother, so I never burdened her. Rather, the Lord took care of my finance. The moment I started to play for ministry, though for me it's a music, but the Lord saw in a different. He started to provide my needs. He started
So
to
every
upgrade
little
it.
thing you do for him,
He was
you
like,
reap a rich
no,
reward.
seriously, I wanted to buy a guitar. The next minute, I'll buy. I want to buy a digital camera, and all these things, like, it was an exciting factor. It started, the digital world was starting for me. So I started to post pictures. People come and, those typical social media guys.
So that began
Like,
with Orkut.
Orkut, and begin with Orkut, and it started to
Facebook.
Facebook and messages, and where we got it to into all sort of fans message, so-called fans message, where you get excited about it. Have I want to show off, like, some message I don't even reply for 5 6 years. Those guys will be like, "Anna, now do you remember me still?" and all this thing. like you want to do like purposefully, where you don't want like show off that guitar guy or musician. So that is really was not bothered about what. But during my work, I started to realize this is where not I am supposed to be. So the one point, the Lord gave me what I wanted, but I never wanted to do what He wanted actually. So I wanted a job. He gave me within a week. I was working for a very multinational bank in Chennai. So immediately one interview appointed. Okay, night shift. Okay, the
So
corporate
you were
typical
able to impress them also.
impress them also. They get to know, okay, oh, I saw you in Facebook. Oh, you're part of our department. So the news get wide and spread to the entire department and entire management I was working. So even my interview question was like, you look like you are like, no, like a musician. Why you didn't go to a music? I mean, why you didn't take music as your career? Why you want to end up in corporate? I said like, no, I just my passion, and this is my profession. I wanted to have a difference with that actually. But that's when I entered the serious part of the world called so-called work, and get to know different characters. Started the battle phase two, was getting serious about, and I was giving night shift as an excuse to avoid praying actually. So that's
Okay.
I was like, I'm tired, Lord, I'm sleeping. I would just like say 1 minute prayer. Those days we used to get Bible was in the calendar. Okay,
We still
the Lord
get it.
spoke.
The
I still
golden
get it.
text
Okay.
calendars.
Nowadays I don't get. We all everything's digital now. We don't get to see the real calendar now. So how the Lord spoke to me. Today's verse is like, okay, today's date so and so did the Lord.
Now it's
spoke to me.
easier. You just look at WhatsApp, you have
WhatsApp,
millions
okay.
of verses
And
there.
people send you the everyday message. So was like still was a little playful when it comes to connecting with God. Like you get into that the other pride called working. I'm earning like I'm a corporate guy. I have a brand. I work for a brand. So those things get into your mind actually. But still, I took a different. I mean, I took some time to do music as well on weekends actually. So it
So
was
you were continuing with your concerts
yeah,
and things
concerts
like
and
that.
everything actually. In fact, I used to take like annual leave and travel abroad. At a very young age, I used to travel abroad for shows where I apply for annual leave and say like I give some lame excuses and I travel for that. Come back, I finish up in another set of 10 days annual leave for another abroad show actually.
Okay.
So I was started to travel like at a very young age as well, like giving excuses
But
and
when you were traveling so much, could you do justice to your job?
I was actually because the first time when I took annual leave they gave me because I was in a training period. I came back, I immediately coped up actually because it was like you have a daily basis of work. You get to work only with a particular set list actually. Like you start there, you finish. You have a work plan actually. So when I come back, it was a bit tedious because you go like 8 days, 10 days away, and you come back, you have to catch up all the 10 days because somebody was getting relieved where I need to replace. So a bit hard, but it was fun. I took it as fun. I took it as sportive. I learned quickly. Then second time when I went, also they approved it actually because I was able to cope up with work. When I come back, I make sure I'm meeting the margins. So the management, in fact,
So work was not lagging.
not lagging because the second work I went because they took me as a musician. We have a lot of fun Fridays at work. We want a corporate guy with some music background because all my friends started to work there. Whoever was I used to play, they went in and worked. They said, we have a guy. Why not we hire him for this position? He plays music. We'll get to have that fun moment. So there was like crazy moments where I attended an interview because I was a musician actually.
So you were there for double purpose, to
Double
entertain
purpose.
them as well as to
Entertain
get the
them
job
and
done.
they entertaining me, and for them it was like vice versa, and like we had good fun actually because work wise I was a bit serious because that's our rice bowl, and this is where we wanted to know, like, show to people I'm working because I had the thing. I need to work for a bank actually. I want to work for a corporate, or I want to be a corporate. I don't want to get into any other profession. So since I had that in mind, I was quite particular about the work I was doing. While people get to know, I used to play music also because my friends used to come for my programs. I pull them away, I come take photos. Or I used to bribe them and take them to. So they get to know when it comes to work, we work seriously. So
So you were able to balance both.
both, yeah. I was in a position where I need to balance both, and I want to do it seriously. Actually, in fact, a lot of people are telling me, "Give up your corporate while you're struggling. You can get that money." In fact, I had an offer to play for a song where I was supposed to get an entire month's salary just for one song, but I said no. That's not where I was looking. I wanted to work. I want to keep my work as a discipline, and this as my passion. That was happening. This was all about while I was working in India, actually.
So how long were you in the corporate sector?
Almost 18 years.
18
18
years.
years. So I
Okay.
worked in all three, four multinational companies. Then I worked with NGO. Then I worked in ministry. Then I was a pastor as well, assistant pastor, where they
Okay.
wanted
So
to
do I
develop
call
a
you
church.
pastor now?
No, there was they. I mean, they used to call me pastor, actually, where I developed a church actually. Not here in overseas.
Okay.
I went to overseas. This was corporate life was only in India. So when I went to overseas,
You
I
went as a pastor.
pastor's life was about 2016 17. So I developed a church from nowhere to something. Then there was always a sign, or always a voice I used to hear the moment I left India. There was, you have to come back. I've given you only because you asked for it. I'm sending you for only very short time. You have to come back. So this kept ringing in my ears.
So God has been so faithful. He's given
Was
every
very faithful.
desire of your heart.
That's the thing. I was like, as I said, he was granting me everything I want, more than what I need, more than what he needs or what he wants. I never asked that. It was only one way communication. Like, Lord, I want this. Okay. You want a job? Okay, come. I want to move to this company. Okay, done. Lord, I want to go to overseas. Okay, done. Lord, I want to work in this company. Done. Lord, I want this car. Done. Everything was like till date, till
So
date.
18 years you were in India working in
No,
different MNCs.
India was 4 years I was in India working for MNCs. Then I had an offer to go to Malaysia, Singapore, Southeast Asia actually.
Okay.
There I developed another 14 years of corporate. I started with the IBM. IBM bought me actually.
Wow.
So they said like we need, and then HSBC, some of the renowned company where like every man's dream to enter, but God, like I said, it was too easy for the Lord. I asked Lord, I want to. I look at the building and said, Lord, can I get a job here?
Oh my
Literally,
God.
I prayed. I mean, to be honest, Lord, oh, nice building. I mean, Twin Towers is very famous there.
Yeah.
Lord, I want to
Work
work in
here.
on it. So the Lord grant me, and He has kept me. And like everybody's like awestruck and say like, how can an Indian come and sit here and work? This is like too good. Lord granted. Then the Lord's time started. I said, I need to leave. I called you for.
So how did you leave your corporate job and move in as a pastor?
So what happened is like after one particular time it was too taxing for me because of my eyesight and because of my stress. I mean the Lord knows how to pull you out. So I went in. I said like I'm getting too much stressed with what I'm doing. I like the job, but I want. But my manager never allowed me to resign. Are you sure this is like everybody's dream? Take a month. I give you sabbatical. Take 1 month. Come back and decide. And they're like I said, no, I'm making my decision. First I said okay. Then 1 week back I said, I know, I think something bothering me. I need to leave. So the moment I left, I received an offer from an NGO. I mean NGO in order to say NGO, it was a ministry, Bible
Okay.
ministry, where they appointed me as a general manager for their company, where they serve the certain amount of certain faith people who want to get to know Christ. So that was like the drastic change from nowhere, from an MNC to like a
Ministry.
ministry, Christian organization, where I started to work in a Christian organization. So that's where I'm stepping in a Christian organization as a like as a what you say, like a translator. I was a translator. Then I was a personal manager for my boss, and was doing multitasking in that organization. That's where ministry began serious in my life actually. Then from there, the Lord said, "I want you to work in a church." It's a Chinese church actually. It's a church in Southeast Asia where I went in as junior. The pastor saw my potential and said, like, let's pray about it. I think the Lord wants me to work with you. So I joined in as a junior pastor and trained people. I started to give a message, worship. So it was a regular pastoral life I was getting into actually, and I served there for about 2 years actually.
There has been a drastic shift.
Very much.
And how were you able to adjust into the new role that God gave you?
It was like initially it was a real challenge because initially I was taking it as a job, not as a ministry. Where okay, I work for 30 days. What is my salary? I was started to negotiate. Like I thought it's a pastoral job is more of okay, so I'll come and work. What will be this? And the Lord started to once I stepped in and started my first ministry in church, where the pastor said, "You need to preach today." That's when it was a shift. Like my entire mind shift. Like said, no, you're a pastor now. You're not a man anymore. I mean, you're not a human being anymore. Think in a ministry. So I started to remove a lot of my own all the perceptions I had completely started to get destroyed and started to begin as a minister with God actually.
But when you took this drastic step of, leaving the corporate, did you have that in mind that you would be entering into ministry?
Not at all. Actually, it was I never had a clue. See, my grandmother kept me name as Samuel. She said only one thing. You will be always under a minister. Under a minister. Either you will be under a church or under a minister. That's his calling. Straight away, she kept the name and she has prophesied that. And it was always connecting with it, right? Like I said, during college, I was connected to a band. Then during my work, I was still connected to a church. Because during my work, I was one of the finest musician in Chennai, where I served all the pastors. So eventually, it was connecting to a pastor. I mean, always that calling was continuing in my life. It was journeying with me in my life.
So it just continued and you just gave birth to something new. Well, viewers, you've been listening to Prithivi and how God led him in his, according to his desires, took him to the places he wanted to go, whether it was in India or in a different country. Wherever he wanted to work, God opened a way for him. But a final day came when God moved him and shifted him from the corporate to ministry. So in the next episode, he will be telling us more about how God used him in ministry and as a musician, as he is today. Till then, it's a goodbye and God bless.
செட்டைகளின் நிழலிலே நின்றிருவே நானுமே என்றுமே அடைக்கலமும் தஞ்சமும் அடைந்தே பயப்படேனே கேடகம் என்றுமே என் வாழ்விலே நீரே எந்த நின் பாதுகாப்பும் நீர்தானே கேடகம் கோட்டை நீரே என் வாழ்விலே அரணும் துருகமுமே என்றென்றுமே மறைவிடமும் நீர்தானே ஆபத்திலே ஆரோக்கியமும் நீர்தானே என்றும் காண்பேன் சிறகின் நிழலிலே தான் சுகமும் தஞ்சமும் தானே நான். செட்டைகளின் நிழலிலே நான் காண்பேனே சுகமுமே என்றுமே. வியாதியும் மறையுமே என்றுமே. வேதனையும் என்றுமே மாறுமே ஆரோக்கியமே. கேடகம் கோட்டை நீரே என் வாழ்விலே அரணும் துருகமுமே. என்றென்றுமே மறைவிடமும் நீர்தானே. ஆபத்திலே ஆரோக்கியமும் நீர்தானே. என்றும் காண்பேன் சிறகின் நிழலிலே தான் சுகமும் தஞ்சமும் தானே நான். செட்டைகளின் நிழலிலே நான் காண்பேனே சுகமுமே என்றுமே. வியாதியும் மறையுமே என்றுமே. வேதனையும் என்றுமே மாறுமே ஆரோக்கியமே. கேடகம் கோட்டை நீரே என் வாழ்விலே அரணும் துருகமுமே. என்றென்றுமே மறைவிடமும் நீர்தானே. ஆபத்திலே